Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolutely fascinating world of Hindu Tantra to explore one of its most fiercely protective and honestly visually striking figures, Goddess Baglamukhi. She's this incredible divine force, renowned for a highly specific, super potent ability, which is the power to stop negativity dead in its tracks. Through the sources we're looking at today, we're going to uncover not just her ancient mythology, but a really profound psychological framework for overcoming destructive forces in our own lives.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Just imagine for a second that you're facing a barrage of malicious rumors, deceit, or just an overwhelming adversary. What if you possessed an actual metaphysical tool, like a frequency or a specific focus, that could instantly paralyze that negativity? No way, right? But this isn't just some fantasy concept. It's the exact domain of Goddess Baglamukhi. Her ancient lore is deeply applicable to the modern, everyday problems we all face when navigating conflict, gossip, and deceit.
But to really understand her, we got to start at the beginning. Section 1, the cosmic origin, stopping the storm. Before we get to the actual story, we need to establish a really clear foundation. In the Hindu Tantric tradition, Baglamukhi is the eighth of the Dasha Mahavidyas. Now, Mahavidyas simply translates to Great Wisdom Goddess. These are 10 unique aspects of the Divine Mother, and each represents a complete spectrum of feminine cosmic power. Baglamukhi's specific domain? That would be stambhana. Stambhana is a Sanskrit term that means the power to paralyze, to stop, to stun, or to completely immobilize. See, she doesn't just fight enemies, she completely neutralizes their ability to act or speak against you. A real game changer.
And according to the texts, her origin story is incredibly dramatic. So back in the Satya Yuga, which is the first cosmic age, this terrifying, universe-destroying storm began to literally tear creation apart. Even the gods were powerless. So Lord Vishnu, deeply disturbed by all this, went to the Saurashtra region and performed intense austerities on the banks of the Haridra Sarovar, that translates to the Lake of Turmeric. Pleased by his devotion, the goddess actually manifested directly from those golden turmeric-tinged waters. With just a single gesture of her divine power, she calmed the violent storm, stopping the destruction and restoring total order to the universe.
That cosmic stillness she brought to the storm perfectly sets up our next chapter. Section 2, Stambhana, the power to paralyze.
There's a very famous legend that perfectly captures how this works. There was this demon named Madan who somehow acquired a supernatural boon called Voxity. This gave him the ultimate power of speech. Literally anything he said instantly came true. But Madan weaponized this gift. He used it to spread arrogance, deceit, and suffering everywhere. Naturally, the gods invoked Baglamukhi for help. She appeared, raised her cudgel, and firmly grabbed the demon's tongue, instantly paralyzing his power of speech. And this brilliantly illustrates the core of Baglamukhi's power, right? It's divine intervention stepping in to silence weaponized, harmful speech.
And you know, this act of supreme restraint is actually hidden right there in her name. If we break down the Sanskrit, Bagala comes from the root word valga, which means a bridle or rein, like the headgear you'd use to control a powerful horse. And Mukhi means face, so her name literally translates to the goddess whose very face controls and reins in destructive forces, exactly like a bridle controls a wild horse. It's just a perfect description of her iconic imagery, wielding a cudgel to stun the enemy while pulling their tongue to stop their malice.
So now that we understand her mythology, it's time to break down exactly how practitioners invoke her. Section 3. Mula Mantra, the ultimate tool.
In Tantric practice, mantras aren't just your standard prayers. They're seen as sonic embodiments of the deity's actual power. The complete 36-syllable Baglamukhi Mula, or root, mantra goes exactly like this. Om Hlim Baglamukhi Sarvadushtanam Vachamukham Padam Stambhaya Jihwam Kiliyaya Buddhim Inashyaya Hlim Om Swaha. I'll say that again. Om Hlim Baglamukhi Sarvadushtanam Vachamukham Padam Stambhaya Jihwam Kiliyaya Buddhim Vinashyaya Hlim Om Swaha. Just let the gravity of those ancient syllables resonate for a moment. This is widely considered one of the absolute most potent protective chants in the entire Tantric pantheon.
So the crucial point here is how precisely this mantra targets the exact anatomy of an attack. We can decode the mechanism right here. Sarvadushtanam means all malicious enemies. From there, the mantra systematically targets them. It hits vacham, their speech, mukham, their mouth, and padam, their feet or movement. It specifically asks the goddess to stambhaya, which means paralyze them. It then continues with jihwam kalaya, meaning pin down their tongue, and buddhim vinashaya, destroy their hostile intellect.
It's a complete, top-to-bottom systematic arrest of the movement, the words, and the thoughts of vicious forces. But at the very heart of that long mantra is just a single sound, the bija, or seed syllable, hlim. That's pronounced hlim. In Tantra, all of a deity's massive cosmic power is condensed into their seed syllable, so hlim is the specific Bagla bija. It represents the absolute kernel of stillness. Practitioners will often just repeat this single syllable over and over to steady the mind and gain victory over sudden confusion or panic. It's like an instant anchor.
Now, alongside her sound, we really need to look at her visual frequency. Section 4, Pitambara, the golden symbolism. You see, Baglamukhi is intrinsically linked to the color yellow. In fact, her alternate name, Pitambari, literally means the one draped in yellow. Because she emerged from the Haridra Sarovar, that ocean of turmeric we talked about earlier, her entire worship is absolutely saturated in this color. Devotees wear yellow garments, they use yellow turmeric paste or haldi for rituals and rosaries. They offer yellow marigold or champaka flowers, and they even use yellow mustard seeds in their fire ceremonies. It is a highly specific, totally immersive ritual environment. But why yellow, right? Well, in tantric psychology, colors directly correspond to specific energy centers or chakras in the body. Yellow is the color of the Manipura, the solar plexus chakra. This is the center that governs personal power, will, and transformation. It literally represents solar energy. So when a practitioner immerses themselves in yellow during these rituals, it's deliberately designed to create a psychological shift. It transforms base fear, anxiety, and doubt into tejas, which is a radiant, confident spiritual energy. It's all about bringing the illuminating power of the sun to dispel the darkness of a threat.
Let's move on and see how this builds into an incredibly relevant concept for us today. Section 5, Inner Stambhana, Silencing Critics.
While Baglamukhi is traditionally invoked for external problems, things like winning court cases, stopping malicious rumors, or freezing an enemy's actions, the esoteric practitioners know her true power is actually internal. The enemy isn't always another person, is it? Sometimes the malicious voice spreading deceit is our very own inner critic. Stambhana, therefore, is the power to paralyze your own internal self-doubt. It's the ability to arrest that paralyzing fear that holds your tongue, finally giving you the courage and the clarity to speak your own truth. So, as we wrap up this explainer on the awe-inspiring goddess Baglamukhi, I want to leave you with a quick question to reflect on. Whether it's an external rumor mill or just the internal doubts echoing in your own mind, what toxic voice in your life needs silencing today? Perhaps it's time to channel a little bit of that golden, transformative stillness into your own world. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and keep seeking that inner clarity.